Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Gazali on Prudent Media. In my studio today, I have a very magical guest. She's enchanting, she's mesmerizing, she's beautiful. She's none other than the one and only hypnotherapist, mentalist, magician, Suhani Shah. Now, Suhani wears many hats. She's also a counselor, she's an author, she's a corporate trainer. But one look at this pretty young lady, and there can be no doubt in anyone's mind that Suhani was born for the stage. She was born to perform, to mesmerize, to enchant. Having entered her name in the Guinness Book of World Records as the world's youngest magician when she was only 7 years old. That was 25 years ago. Suhani has completed over 5,500 shows till date. We managed to catch up with Suhani as she is here in Goa as part of a whirlwind mega 30-city Silver Jubilee tour. Thank you, Suhani, for being here.
Thank you so much, Heather, for those such lovely words. That
You're lovely. You're such a lovely lady. How can I not say any of it?
Thank you so much. And it just seemed such a well-researched intro because not a lot of people know that I'm a clinical hypnotherapist and stuff like that.
Well, we've been following you since you were a child.
Yes,
so
I have my connections with Goa that go way long back.
I met you, I think, over 14 years ago.
Damn.
So that was, you were just a tiny little girl then.
I'm still tiny little girl.
You're still tiny. So, Kahani, I mean, 25 years, you're on a Silver Jubilee tour. Tell us something about that.
Yeah, every time you say the word Silver Jubilee tour, you know, when you're saying that term, it's just hitting my head also ki yaar 25 saal ho gaye, like 25 years.
Time.
I just start feeling old suddenly.
No, not at all.
But yes, it is. I've completed 25 years of being a magician, 25 years of being on stage, and honestly, it doesn't feel like 25 years, man. It just feels like, I mean, to hum roz karte hain. You know, when you start something at such a tender age, when you start
and something that you like.
Yeah, something that you like, but when you started at such a small age, when you started when you're 7 years old, I mean, I technically started when I was 6, and then you keep doing it every day, and it becomes a part of your lifestyle. It doesn't seem like work. It's like how you have dinner every day, but you don't say, oh, I'm having dinner for 25 years. It's my Silver Jubilee year of having dinner. Yes. So somehow, not that I don't want to I don't want to take pride in doing it for 25 years, but in a way, it's become like a part of my lifestyle. It's just part of who I am. So going on stage doesn't seem like work to me. Marketing the show is a work. Doing streams online is work, but then performing on stage is just like, chalo jaake perform karke aate hain. It's just a part of my lifestyle, and I just love doing it, and it feels great that I could follow my passion for such a long time, and now we are doing a show which depicts like how this 25 years have been. The journey, yes. The name of the show is Kahani.
Okay.
Which literally means a story.
Yes.
And how in this show, I'm talking about how everybody is a story. Like what differentiates Heather from Suhani is her story and my story.
Yes.
Like that's what differentiates us. But interestingly, today we are a part of each other's story.
True.
Yeah. And the show is all about that. Okay. The show is all about how everybody is different because of their stories, but how all stories are somehow similar. We all go through
we all interconnect somewhere in life.
Correct. And the show is all about that. Okay. Of course, I do explain a lot of my life incidences of what people have not seen. Like people have seen the glory. True. They don't know the story. They don't know what happened when I went back after a show.
Okay.
So I talk about that. I talk about I talk about vulnerabilities, I talk about insecurities, how those things affect everybody, and you might not see that. So it's a very interesting show. In terms, I know it's my show, so I of course say it, but it is interesting.
So now, since you said it's about your story, growing up, it is, we are all told how we need to study hard, we need to work hard, and then find ourselves, a dependable, secure career, say medicine, engineering, banking. But you went off tangent at an extremely young age. Now, my question has two parts. One, you quit school. What was that like? Did you miss being, did you miss that, do you miss that phase of your life? Do you feel like you missed out on something that everybody else shares?
So, firstly, it was never a decision that I don't want to go to school. I mean, I loved going to school. I was scoring good marks as well. I loved going. I was not the kid who doesn't want to go to the school. Yeah. I loved going to the school, but I started performing at the age of 7, and my parents are visionaries. So my father was always of the idea that if you want to perform magic, you don't perform in a school or a party. Do a big stage show. Now, I don't come from a family of magicians, so it took time, and it took a lot of investment, time, energy, money, everything. And when I performed my first show, it was an auditorium show, 3 hours. We had the chief minister, entire media, kickstart to the career. I went to Bombay for performing 3 months. I went to the US. I had the Guinness thing happening. And I was just performing almost every day because it was conventional, traditional shows. Like 2 trucks of goods, 30 people to assist me, glittery clothes, abracadabra, flying in the air, cutting somebody. All of that. I think Goa has also seen that show also of mine. Like Goa has seen my journey. Goa is just this place that has seen Suhani grow
and you're back
and
here
evolve.
Now.
And I'm back here because I feel like now I have to show everything to Goa. Like every time I have to come back and like every milestone Goa has to see. So what happened was, because I was performing traditionally 1 month in one city, 1 month in another city, I couldn't go to school. It wasn't a choice, it was just something that happened as a consequence of performances. Okay. And then it came to a point where the struggle was too much in terms of mental struggle of half the time is like school, padai, and half the time is performances. You couldn't focus. And my parents only made a decision. Like I'm very young to make a decision. I'm 6, 7. So they took a decision that my father remembered saying was, either she performs in front of 60,000 or she sits in a class of 60.
Okay.
And he was very clear that she has to perform. Like, what will she do going to school?
But, I mean, kudos to your parents. You have remarkable parents that allowed, a young 5-year-old, you were 5, I believe.
7.
Yeah. 7. So, to quit school and to allow you to choose something so unconventional. How many parents do we know that do that?
Yeah. In fact, my mother also said something very interesting, which I remember till today, and it's for everybody. Any child who wants to study will study, will gain knowledge from anywhere.
True.
But the one who doesn't want to gain knowledge, you put the kid in the best of the school and they will fail. So schools are a medium to gain and acquire knowledge, but it's not the only way to do it. And I think my parents were, I'm very fortunate to, they supported the kid. If they wouldn't have supported the 7-year-old, and it wouldn't have been possible. And even today when I meet parents and I see them, and I'm like, please listen to your child. I mean, not necessarily that you have to follow like I was not just doing magic. I was a state level swimmer. I was getting good marks in my school. I was the youngest in India to do complete my diploma. So I was doing multiple things because my parents supported in everything. People just know of the magic bit.
Correct.
But having supportive parents at that time, at any point, having supportive parents is great. But at that age, when parents listen to you, take you seriously, and start helping you in following your dreams, and which you don't even know are your dreams at that point. And they're just hobbies, it just makes you take yourself seriously. Like tomorrow, if even as a kid, if I want to go to my parents and tell him that, I want to play basketball, I have to be careful because he's not the one who will go and say, Chacha ki padhai kar. He'll be the one who will be like, okay, play. What do you want next? So, everything I say will be taken seriously. So, it made me more responsible and made me made me think seriously about myself.
To do it. So, you chose the stage over school, obviously. But why
stage became
magic?
My school.
Why magic?
There's nothing else I can think other than magic. Even today, why magic is like, why not? I mean, as a 6-year-old, I remember it was Sunday morning, I watched a magic program on television, highly fascinated by what the magician did. Instead of watching more magic shows, I wanted to perform magic. Walked up to my father, told him I want to perform magic. First,
and he thought still.
Of course, it will be too unrealistic if I say that, one moment, because magic is so unconventional. Like today, you still hear magic, you see on internet and things like that. I'm talking about 25 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah, it is like जादू कौन करता है? जादू क्या होता है? मतलब it's not even a profession you look up to.
Yes, exactly.
And लड़की, मतलब another thing is I'm also a girl. जादूगर लड़के होते हैं. So a lot of things, but I think that conversation did not happen. I think the conversation was he thought this is one more thing that I wanted to do. So he's like, how serious is she? Is she going to change her? So it took me a few days to keep going to him and telling him I really want to do it.
So
and
how
the
did you do
moment
that?
he
Did you-
realized, no, I would just talk to him. And then I would perform some tricks for him. Just khud se kuch bhi.
What was the magic?
I
trick
remember
that
I
you performed?
blindfolded myself and I started writing. Like I went to the kitchen. Mama was making chapatis. I took the dough, stuck it to my eyes, took Dad's handkerchief, tied it. There were slates, puranas.
Yes.
So I took a slate and I told him, you write something, and I was blindfolded and I just wrote the same thing.
Okay, wow.
So that was my convincing. That is where he was like, oh,
Something.
she's
There is
serious about what
something.
she's doing.
And there is something. I mean, you obviously do have the skill.
Yeah, I don't know how I did. I still do that act in my show now also.
Okay.
But it's just weird how nobody taught me that and I just know it. It's one of the magic acts.
Yes.
Like I do blindfold driving. I've done it in Goa also. But they're like stunts. And one of my most popular acts has been blindfold writing and whatever.
So, you said Jadugar Ladki. And you are still the only female magician in India. Has it been an uphill battle or has that worked to your advantage?
I think the statement needs to change. I think I'm just a little more popular, but I think after me, I've seen a lot more girls come up.
Okay.
And I feel extremely proud that I could
Inspire them.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they must be doing by themselves or they're inspired by me, but I just feel great that women are coming up in the field, and it's just saying that doesn't have to be male dominating, it doesn't have to be a male territory. Women can come out and do magic really well. I think they're just magicians in general. So doing it and just performing it live is even better. It feels great, but very honestly, like I don't want to play the women card, but very honestly, if I tell you, I didn't even think of it till like 7-8 years ago. I was asked in an interview, how does it feel to be the only female magician dominating the male dominant territory?
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, is it? Because I was not brought up that way. Okay. I have a brother 5 years older to me, never being compared to him. What he does, you do, he does. I mean, I never even heard from my parents or people around me, कि अच्छा तू ये कैसे कर रही है? अच्छा तू अकेली लड़की ये कर रही है? I mean, I was never there. So honestly, it didn't ever occur to me that I was really redefining the field until I was literally addressed by people from outside coming and telling me about it. I was just doing my bit. I was following my passion and doing what I want to do and just trying to do it well. I mean, I would do it for my self-respect. No, like I want to see myself perform well, and I would just keep improving myself.
So magic is, as much about illusion as it is about art. And like everything else in life, it takes practice. So who do you practice on? I saw some pictures of you with your dog, Steve, I believe.
Yes.
Is that who you try your tricks on?
I try to, but he's smarter than me. I think dogs are mind readers in general. They see you and they know that what's happening.
You're up to something.
Yeah. But so just a quick understanding about the art form of magic. Magic is like the parent category. Okay. Like how dance is the parent category, and then there are various dance forms. Kuchipudi, salsa, Bharatanatyam. Yes. Similarly, magic is the parent category, and there are various genres: illusion, mentalism, escapology, street magic, parlor magic, pickpocketing, many more.
Okay. You're a mentalist.
I was an illusionist.
Okay.
If you go, I've seen my previous shows in Kala Academy or Ravindra Bhavan earlier, I was an illusionist. You would come and see me disappearing some statue or flying in the air. That's more of an illusion.
Illusion, yes.
I eventually turned into a mentalist 6-7 years ago.
All right.
Now, in an illusion show, the practice used to be more with my assistants, with lights, music, more showmanship.
Special effects.
Exactly. Mentalism is not that. 2 hours is just me on a chair there, and I'm reading everybody's mind. You are thinking of this, you are thinking of... It's just me reading people's minds, predicting the future, telling about things, going into the past, and a lot of things happening. But there's no assistance, on stage. It's just me. So now the practice method has changed. Earlier there was so much drama around the practice, but now it's just me. And in mentalism, the way you practice is with people. So it's very difficult to do trial shows. Like I really can't collect 20 people and perform an act, because what if an act that has to be performed with 600 people can only be performed with 600 people. And to collect 600 people, you have to do a show. So mentalism practices most likely happen on stage while I'm performing. So I will perform like smaller shows first, and sometimes I'll just try to do the same act which happens on 600 people on one person, just for my confidence, although it doesn't work that way. Okay, if it's worked in a group of sample 30 people,
that it will work with
it should
600.
work with like 60, and then that should work with 600. You work that probability basis, but it has to happen on stage. So the more you're performing on stage, you're understanding audience psyche better, whether they're reacting, whether they're not reacting, what light is affecting to what mentality and things like that. So now I think this particular show, Konkani, has been performed more than 25 times.
Okay.
So now we just know the drill. Like now we know what's
working
happening.
and what's not. So Mentalist, you read people's minds. Can you read mine?
I mean, of course, that's what I do for a living. Oh, you really want me to read your mind?
Of course.
Okay. Let me ask you. Okay, so you've been asking me very interesting questions, Heather. Let me ask you a question. But the way you're asking me questions seems like you've done a lot of interviews. You've asked questions to a lot of people in your life. I want you to, don't say it out loud. In your mind, think of a person's name that you've interviewed, that you've enjoyed interviewing, or like a pleasant experience. Like if I'm sure you must have interviewed like a lot of people.
Not that many, but yes, okay.
Or not many, like more than 20?
Yes.
More than 20. So any one name that comes to your mind that technically I don't know how many interviews you've done and I have not gone and seen those interviews. I would love to, but I haven't. So I want you to think of one name that comes to your mind.
Okay.
That has been special to you.
Okay, not special necessarily, but yes, okay.
You have a name in your mind. Okay. I want to think about this name in your mind.
Okay.
Keep saying this name in your mind over and over again, over and over again, over and over again. Just the first name you're going to think. I just want you to think of the first name. That's
okay.
it. Okay? That's it. Skip the surname. We don't want the surname.
All right.
The surname was a little longer if I'm not wrong. So keep thinking of the name. Now close your eyes. Imagine you're sitting in the theater. Imagine you're at Inox. And before the movie starts, you see this name popping on the huge screen in front of you. And now I want you to, in your mind only, count the number of letters in this name. Very short name.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, you can open your eyes. You know, the moment I said the short name and 4 letters.
Yes.
Talking about Remo.
Yes. Oh my God, how did you do that?
I did it very well.
You knew. Did you know?
I mean, when I got the 4 letters, then I thought it has to be Remo. Like a very popular name.
COVID affected all of us. Some succumbed. Many rose to the occasion. You started your YouTube channel. You got contacted by Netflix India. You have your own game show on Netflix. I think it's called...
That's my job.
Ye to kuch bhi nahi. Yes.
Yeah.
How's that been?
Yeah. I sometimes I only don't remember the things that have happened in pandemic, but so much has happened. I did have my YouTube channel for long, but it wasn't active because I always believed that I'm not somebody who wants to perform online. I'm a stage person, as you introduced me in the start. But then, you know, suddenly when you're performing for like 20, 23 years, and this phase comes that you know that you cannot be on stage for like 3 months, 4 months, 4 months.
Yes.
You suddenly start having an identity problem. Like, I did not know how do I identify myself now. Like, what am I going to do if I'm not on stage?
As did all of us. I mean, COVID affected everyone.
Correct. So, to maintain my sanity, just so that I could talk to people or just perform something, I started streaming online. I started just talking to people online. In that conversations, I created games, and I always loved playing games. In general, so I created That's My Job, which is another game show. I created Ye To Kuch Bhi Nahi, which is a Netflix game show. I created like game shows. I started talking to people. I started performing magic online, and suddenly it's got so much love, and I'm glad I did it, and I'm glad people supported and loved me so much. But it literally gave me a new career stream as well.
All good things.
All good things, yes, and it challenged me, because I would always say that mentalism cannot be performed online if I'm not seeing the person. But it literally challenged me कि तुझे तो अब तेरे पास option ही नहीं है सुहानी, अगर ये नहीं है तो कुछ भी नहीं है. So it challenged me to be more innovative, be more creative, see what you can do, and we did it. Like before pandemic, I couldn't have thought of doing the things, the effects we created online, and I'm glad we did it. And as they say, you know, when you're pushed and when challenges come in, you find ways.
You find a way.
And that's what happened.
So now it's not, you know, Suhani, it's not every day that one encounters a magician. And so what is the first thing that people ask you, you know, do they What is it like when people come to know that you're a magician? What is it that they ask of you, or what is it that they ask you to do? How do people react?
I'm so sorry. It's just so funny because some reactions are so funny. Like I would meet somebody and I would go like, "Hi, I'm Suhani," and they'd be like, "Hi."
What do you do?
No, they just stand there, "Hi," and they're like assuming that I'm just going to read their name out of their mind.
Oh.
So they won't not like be like, "Hi, I'm Suhani." Like, "Hi,"
Oh, I should have done that.
and I'm like, "No." The idea is that it's just sometimes they'll be like, very interesting. Now, of course, people know me a little bit more, so they know I'm a mentalist and they know what I do. But earlier years, when I had to introduce myself, and I would say I'm a magician, and when I say this, like, "Hi, what do you do?" and I'm like, "I'm a magician." Oh, they would be like, "What instrument do you play?"
Oh, no.
Because they would not hear magician, they would hear
okay.
musician, because it's so uncommon that it doesn't even register that somebody can be a magician.
How often do you meet a magician?
Exactly what you mentioned. So I'd be like, "No, I'm a magician."
Can you do something?
Yeah, and now when I tell them I'm a mentalist, "Oh, can you read my mind?" I'm like, you don't meet a doctor and be like, "Oh, your surgery." You don't do that. You don't meet a maths teacher and be like, "Oh, solve the problem, find the X." Yes. You don't do that. So it's just like you meet a mentalist and you're like, "I know." So also what happens is, I can of course do that, but the idea is that to be performing, there's a performance vibe and that's who you are individually. Secondly, being a mentalist and you read minds, first of all, people need to understand it's an art form. And the first line of my show says that I don't read minds, I give an illusion of reading minds. Okay. It's an art form, and of course it has a lot of NLP, psychology, a lot of those things involved in it, and it is an extremely mysterious and interesting art form. But I have to be extremely observant of the person when I am doing it. Like if I have to read something about anybody, I have to be extremely observant. So it takes away a lot of my energy. So in my day-to-day life, I'm not literally going like, I'm not interested in people's lives so much. I have a life.
I want to know, yes.
Yeah, so I think in general, as being a mentalist, one thing I understood with my lifestyle is that in general, as humans in this generation, we are being bombarded with way more information than our brain is primitively adapted
to
absorb. And that is creating a lot of mental illnesses. Because our brain is not wired, it's primitively not ready to take the amount of information that we feed it. And when I am as a mentalist on stage or I'm performing all the time, my profession is also to gain a lot of information from people, to be a good performer with their body language, with their eye patterns, with their finger movements, with their toes, with the hair flip, or whatever. There's a lot of things that come in picture. And I just have a lot of information coming to me all the time. And it's the same thing, but I just have to calm myself down. And that is very important. So for me to calm down is more important than to retrieve information from someone's mind now.
So your whirlwind, you did 30 cities. How many shows in each city?
Multiple shows sometimes, because few cities we have done 2 shows in a day, because like a show would get sold out.
In a day? 2 in a day?
Yeah. Because some cities, they are sold, like Hyderabad for example, got sold out 10 days in advance. So we added another show.
So was that, mentally sapping for you?
We just have fun on stage, honestly. Like as I say, it is tiring after the show's over and you go home and you remove your heels and are like, "Oh, my toes."
Not my mind.
Heels. But when you're on stage, you're just having fun. And if you see me on stage, you'll see me having fun. You're like, "Abhi, ye kya masti kar rahi hai?" So I am somebody who's extremely comfortable on stage, and I think I make my people comfortable. I make my audience comfortable. If you're having fun, your audience will have fun. Yeah. And the art form is so niche. The art form is all about you. Like mentalism is all about telling you about you.
About me, yeah.
And who's more interesting to you than you? So the show is all about people. Okay. I'm telling them about them, and we've tried to create beautiful stories between them. It's a roller coaster of emotions where they laugh and a little bit of cry, and then they become nostalgic, and then they become like, all of it is a part of the show. And it starts with my stories, but it ends with people's stories. So that's how we make a full circle of it. And honestly, it is something that India has not seen. We also say that it's a first mentalism show in India. So anyway, people have not seen a mentalism show. But even in that, it's something which is like a storytelling, mentalism, mind reading, magic. It's a combination of everything. So it's an experience that we are trying to give to people rather than showing them just tricks.
Nice. Now, when I told the cameramen that Suhani was coming. So the first thing they said was, "Oh, Jadugar."
Yeah.
But when one thinks of a Jadugar, one thinks, of a thin, tall man, twirling mustache, a cage of pigeons, top hat, cape.
Yeah.
Now, I believe you've been trying to change that image. How has that been?
I
what
think
is the
just
response
being
been?
here and just seeing me or in general videos online, I think your cameraman would have already changed the image of it in his own mind. And so there is this, Hindi mein we call Jadugar and we also call Jadugarni.
Okay.
But Jadugarni कभी use ही नहीं हुआ. Even if I had to call in childhood, जब मैं अपने आप को बुलाती थी और हमारे पेपर में
always
Jadugar Suhani.
Yes.
Because the relatability with Jadugarni never came in. Okay. But as I said, I'm just glad to be in a profession that is because magic doesn't have to be male dominating. It has no connection कि खाली लड़के कर सकते हैं कि लड़कियां नहीं कर सकती.
Any other career in
Like
life.
any other career, like any other art form, for that matter. So I feel like if I'm able to do it and if I'm bringing that image. In fact, earlier my shows I used to end with the dialogue, the next time somebody tells you to think of a magician, remember it can also be a woman.
But you're also trying to change the image of the flashing lights and the cape and the velvet and the velour.
So I think I feel the flashy lights and the glitter and abracadabra is also not bad. I don't come from a philosophy कि वो बुरा है और ये अच्छा है कि वो देसी है वो ये और
and
ये
that was how you started out.
Yeah, but I feel like वो traditional Indian magic है. You cannot take that away from it. Even today there will be magicians who are performing like that in some part of the country and they are doing very well and there are people who are enjoying it. And I appreciate and respect that equally. Okay. My only thing also was that I wanted to evolve and because I've been doing that for so long, what next is in my life? So I wanted to evolve. Also, I always want to perform a show that I want to watch. So at 7 I'm watching something, at 9 I'm watching something, at 17 I have evolved and I want to see something else and hence I perform something else. When stand-up comedy picked up in India, I wanted to change from illusions to mentalism so that I could cater to more people and let magic reach more people as well. So my respect and love for the art form is immense. So doing Konkani this year was a huge risk for me, like one of the biggest risks I've taken. Because Konkani, the show comes with massive production value.
Okay.
It has lights, it has LED screens, it has visuals and technicians. You'll see it's too much of happening on stage. Music is too, like, beautiful experience. It's a high production show. And to believe that people are going to buy tickets for mentalism in this much quantity that I can take money back and I earn out of it. Honestly, I didn't even think of that. I was like 25 years, whatever I'm not going to school, college. All I am today is because of the art of magic has taught me so much. This is my payback to it. I have to do something for the art of magic and tell people in India that it's not just international magicians. You don't have to go overseas to see magic of this quality. You can see it in India and we have it here. And I'm going to take that risk. And honestly, shows have been sold out and they've been so loving.
Congratulations.
And the risk has turned out well in every aspect, not just financially. So very happy.
That's awesome.
It is.
Now you've told us about your story up to now. What are your future plans for the world of magic?
The idea of spreading the art of magic in India in the correct narrative is very important to me. Like till today, there will be people who think magic is kala jadoo or supernatural or a lot of other things are there in the country. Spreading the art of magic in its right way with the right narrative has always been my thing. Okay. Like I will, the thing I do, a lot of god men, god women do out there, but not claiming it to be as a trick, but claiming it to be as supernatural. And I'm not somebody who favors that, and I'll be strongly standing against that. That don't take advantage of people's fear. Because in today's time, people's fear, people's insecurities has become the biggest business. Okay? They'll tell you to believe in the sun, they'll tell you to believe in the moon, they'll tell you to wear a ring for anger, they'll tell you to add an extra A in the name for success, they'll tell you to wear kala dhaga, nazar na lage, lal dhaga, tarakki ho, tie threads to the tree, worship the plant in the house. They believe in everything because they're so fearful that any hope you give them, they'll believe. But I think it's for people, I always want to tell people the biggest power is your belief. Whatever you'll put into will become powerful. Okay, but if you believe in yourself, you also make yourself powerful. And that's what magic has, as I can use magic as a medium to spread that message. Okay. And that's been my thing in terms of magic and the art of magic. What are my plans in general as a person? I'm somebody against all motivational talks and things. I'm somebody who's never planned. I only know one thing, I'll always perform magic. Anything comes in my way, I will take that up and see if it feels good. So the basic idea is that, 5 years ago, if you had planned anything, it didn't work out because 2 years went into pandemic. Nobody knew that's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
If 5 years ago I couldn't plan what I'm going to do 5 years later, I never thought I'll be where I am today. Of course, I can't plan where I'm going to be 5 years later. I think if I plan something, I will limit my own self to doing only that. Maybe my potential can be much higher, and I don't want to limit that. So I'm going to give my 100% to what I'm doing now, and giving 100% to what I'm doing now will open more doors for me in life. And I want to see what doors open for me, and I want to see how I'm surprised by life, and see how where life takes me.
We look forward to much better and bigger things for you.
Thank you so much, Heather.
So that was Suhani Shah. She's on a 30-city mega, Silver Jubilee tour at this moment right now. Thank you, Suhani, for taking the time out, for joining us here today, for sharing something of your magical journey, and for hopefully rubbing off a bit of magic on us.
Thank you so much for having me. Lovely being here.
And thank you, viewers, for joining us. This is Heather saying bye for now. Keep watching Prudent Media.